Decades of Democratic political rule in Chicago have led to the second city's slow crumbling from the inside. So could faith be part of its renewal? A minister in Chicago just opened a 3,000-seat megachurch in the middle of the city. And he wants his church to be a sanctuary and a safe haven from the allures of crime and violence. But can faith in this church succeed where government has failed? A lot of liberals will doubt that. But joining us now from Chicago is Pastor Horace Smith. Pastor, thanks for joining us. I was thinking about this today when I was reading about you. There are a lot of churches in Chicago, and you got Father Flager with that St. Sabina's. I'm not a big fan of his, but he has his church. You got Reverend Wright, right? Is he still kicking around? You got a lot of churches, a lot of people trying. They've been unable to stem the violence so far, so how is yours going to be different?
Well, I don't think we're unique at all. I think that what we're doing is doing the part that we should do where we are. My argument is this, that you're right. There are not only a lot of churches in Chicago, there have 250,000 churches in America, but the question is to the church itself, are we really doing what we should be doing and make a difference? And that's the key. We cannot turn things around by ourselves, but where we're located and what we're doing can be meaningful and impactful if we really represent what we preach about and then put our money where our mouth is. I think you'll see a difference. So every church must look at its own self and say, what are we doing? Are we really doing the work we're called to do by Christ? Or are we doing something that's more of a social impact thing that just won't work?
Yeah, I've noticed that, and some friends of mine have remarked about some mega churches seem more like it's performance art than it is about Christ, the Almighty, our Christian purpose, and so forth. That's fun, and it's fun to have people on stage and dancing and electric guitars and all that, and that's great. Praise the Lord.
Sure.
But the mentoring, the what you need with these, especially these young boys who many of them are fatherless, have no role models. Just talked about this in the hip hop segment we did earlier.
Right. That's the case that, I'm not against the what you call the pop and the kind of the pull for young people. Nothing's wrong with that. You do something to attract people, that's okay. But once they are attracted, you must have real programmatic things that really hit at the heart of the matter. And it begins with our own example, the leaders of the church, the generations. When we just opened this church, it's not a new church, we've been there 102 years, but its theme was crossing over with multiple generations. What we're saying is that there's a responsibility of each generation to the other. And in many ways, I think that my generation and the one that preceded me, in some ways, we have really failed these young people. So we have almost blamed the victims. We put them in an environment that's negative, that's scarce of resources, and then we wonder why they're in trouble.
Pastor, without family, without a family unit, especially a mom and a dad, if possible, a lot of single women doing great, good, heroic work, but without a father, it's hard.
No, you're correct.
I mean, I'm a single mom, and I'm very, very, very privileged. I'm very blessed, but there's a lot of kids who have rudderless. They have nowhere to turn, and they go to the gangbangers, and they go to all these influences, and they can sell drugs easily, make a quick buck, and then suddenly they find themselves in prison. I mean, that is the nightmare of Chicago under Democrat leadership. Sorry.
Yeah, but the church can make that difference. You've couched it correctly. Without a father, I grew up, my mother died when I was very young, 10 years of age. There were 6 of us. But my father stood up. My father was the role model. I saw him go to work every day as a cab driver, then as a policeman. He modeled for me. Not only modeled for me, he demanded of me. He demanded of me. Yeah. I had no voice in my house. I was directed by my father. But the church can become that. The church has to step in where there's a lack. And again, mentorship, those kind of things, and say, hey, we can be your father. We can be whatever you don't have and make a difference.
Pastor, I want to come to your church next time I'm in Chicago. Is that a deal?
Well, I'd love you to come and worship with us. That'd be great.
I'm coming to hang with you. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much for joining us. I knew he had a great, dedicated dad. I just knew it.